Welcome, Fright Night Vault listeners. You ever meet someone whose eyes look alive, but the rest of their face doesn't keep up? That strange delay, that cold stillness. Sometimes it isn't exhaustion. Sometimes it's not even them behind the wheel. Subscribe to the Vault and never walk alone again. Tonight's audio horror, demonic encounter, the ghost that took my body, starts now. All right, Vault listeners, this case comes from someone I interviewed almost 5 years ago, a man named Aaron. And I'll tell you up front, he wasn't dramatic. He wasn't someone who chased paranormal stories or believed in curses or demons or anything like that. He worked in IT, lived alone, moved the same way through his routine every single day. That's why the changes stood out so much to him. When the body you've known your whole life suddenly starts doing other things, you notice. He told me the first sign was small, almost dismissible. He said he woke up one morning and found his right hand resting on his chest in a tight fist. He doesn't sleep like that. Never did. And he tried to unclench it, but for a few seconds, the fingers wouldn't obey. He said it felt like trying to move someone else's hand, like the muscles hurt him, but only after a delay. Eventually, the fingers loosened up, and he shook it off. Figured he might have slept weird on his arm. You know how that goes. Nerves, pressure, circulation. But he kept thinking about that stiffness, that delay, that odd feeling that the hand wasn't his. A week later, it happened again. This time he was brushing his teeth, and his left hand, his offhand, suddenly jerked upward and touched his cheek. Quick, light tap. Not enough to hurt, just enough to get his attention. He didn't do it. He was sure of that. But again, he told himself it was nerve stress. He'd been tired. People twitch, people spasm. But then it started happening in patterns. Always the hands, always slow, small movements, and always when he wasn't focused on them. He'd be watching TV, and he'd notice his thumb tapping against his leg in a slow, rhythmic pattern. 4 taps. Pause. 4 taps again. He'd stop it. The tapping would return. Sometimes minutes later, sometimes hours. That was when he started recording himself. He set up an old webcam and pointed it at the couch. Let it run in the background while he watched TV or worked on his laptop. The first night, nothing showed up, just him sitting there, normal. But the second night, well, that's when things changed. He said he watched the footage back the next morning, and in the video, he was sitting with a blanket over his lap, watching a show on his phone. And then, without warning, his entire forearm slid out from under the blanket. He didn't even look away from the screen. The arm moved like something tested it out. Bent the wrist, flexed the fingers, put the hand flat against the couch cushion, then pulled the arm back under the blanket. He never noticed. Not while it happened. And he froze watching it. He said his stomach dropped right out of him. That arm moved like it belonged to someone else. Like something inside him was trying to feel its way around. That moment broke him more than anything else. Not because the arm moved, but because he didn't feel it at all. He didn't go to work that day, didn't leave the house. He kept both his hands on the table in front of him and stared at them like they were strangers. He said he whispered, "Stop," over and over again, but nothing moved. Later that afternoon, he sent me the footage. I still have it. And I remember watching it, leaning as close to the screen as I could without pressing my forehead to the glass. The hand didn't look like a spasm. It moved with intention, slow, deliberate. There was a moment where the fingers curled slightly, like a child trying on gloves that didn't belong to them. Around this time, Aaron started hearing something else. Not voices, nothing like that. Just breathing. Low, close breathing. But it never came from the room. It always came from wherever his attention wasn't. If he faced the kitchen, it sounded like it came from behind him. If he faced the windows, It sounded like it came from the hallway. And that's the part that unnerved him the most. The breathing wasn't raspy or angry. It was just there, calm, present, almost curious, like someone standing just behind you, listening in, waiting their turn to move. He told me the next incident happened 2 weeks after the first real arm movement. He woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't open his eyes, not because he was paralyzed. He said the rest of his body could move, but his eyelids were clamped shut. He tried prying them open with his fingers, but something resisted, almost like a hand pressed lightly over them from the inside. He panicked. He sat up, breathing fast, shaking, trying to peel his eyelids open. And after maybe 20 seconds, they snapped open on their own, and he fell backward, gasping. He said he felt like he'd just fought someone for control, not of his sight, but of his face. The next day, he noticed something new, something subtle. When he looked in the bathroom mirror, he swore his reflection didn't move exactly when he did. A tiny delay, barely half a second, but it was there, a lag. He blinked. The reflection blinked a moment after. He lifted his chin. The reflection followed with a soft hesitation, like it had to remember how. He didn't sleep for 2 days after that. I remember meeting him in person. He looked exhausted, not in a normal way. His movements were guarded, slow, like he was afraid any sudden gesture might encourage. Whatever was inside him, he kept cracking his knuckles, over and over, even when he didn't seem aware he was doing it. I asked him why. He said, "It likes the sound." And then he laughed, a dry, broken laugh. But his eyes didn't match the laugh. They looked frightened, wet, childlike. I asked him when he first felt like something else was really living in there with him. And he said it was the night he found himself standing in the hallway without any memory of getting out of bed. And the worst part wasn't waking up there. It was realizing his hands were clasped in front of him like he was being guided somewhere. Led, and he didn't know where. He told me, "It doesn't feel angry, it feels patient." Now, that line stayed with me. Because patience isn't something the dead usually bother with. Whatever this was, it wasn't just haunting him. It was studying him, learning him, bit by bit, finger by finger. A few days later, things escalated. He heard footsteps inside the house, but not around him, inside him. I know how that sounds, Vault Master. I didn't believe him at first either, but he insisted, said it felt like little footsteps running across his ribs, across his shoulders, like someone pacing underneath his skin. Short, quick steps, back and forth, testing. He couldn't take it anymore. He locked himself in his bedroom, turned on every light, and sat on the floor with his back against the door. That's when the real possession began. He told me it started with a pull, deep inside his spine, like someone grabbed a string inside him and tugged. His head jerked to the left hard. He fought it, grabbing his own jaw, trying to hold it steady. His neck muscles strained until they burned. His right arm started rising, shaking violently. He pressed it down with his left hand. Then the left hand started lifting too. He said, he whispered, "Please stop." And he didn't know who he was talking to, himself or the thing inside him. His fingers curled inward, his wrists twisted slightly. His breathing changed. It slowed, deepened. Not in fear. Fear makes breathing quick and shallow. This breathing was steady, purposeful, like something was trying out lungs for the first time. He said the moment he truly broke was when his own voice said, "Shh," but his lips didn't move. I need you to imagine that for a second. Hearing your own voice from inside your own throat, but knowing you didn't say anything. He ran. I don't blame him. He burst out the door, down the hallway, out into the cold air of the street. But something moved his legs faster than he wanted. He almost fell twice. He said it felt like he was co-running with something, sharing the same frame, two sets of intentions, one body, He made it to his neighbor's house, banged so hard on the door his knuckles split. The neighbor opened up and pulled him inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, his legs collapsed, his arms went limp. Whatever was inside him just let go. Not gone, just inactive, dormant, like it couldn't cross into someone else's home. He slept on their couch, woke up in the morning feeling hollow and bruised, but free, temporarily, because when he went home the next day, the house felt different, colder. He said the air didn't feel empty. It felt disappointed. The breathing returned that night, closer than ever, right next to his ear, and then he felt fingers slide across his back from the inside. He moved out a week later, never went back. When I last spoke to him, he said the movements have mostly stopped, mostly. Sometimes his left hand twitches in the old pattern. 4 taps, pause, 4 taps again. And when it happens, he freezes, waiting, hoping that's all it is. Because he knows one thing with absolute certainty: whatever slipped into him didn't leave. It just hasn't finished. Not with a final battle. Not with an exorcism or some dramatic escape. Just a man living with something that wants his body a little more each year. Something patient. Something curious. Something learning. And that's the part that bothers me the most. Because patience is how possession begins. Well, Vault listeners, that's what happened. Bodies don't always feel like home. And sometimes, something else agrees. If you've ever felt your own hand move without you, pay attention. It always starts small. If you have a horror story of your own, drop it in the comments. The next story could be yours. Subscribe to The Vault and never walk alone again.